That truck pulls into the landing with that trailer up on the truck. Comes in, takes it off. And those logs, as they're loading on there, now that's a science too, and it's way more difficult than it looks. And we might have an opportunity to see some of that as Byron gets up close to the top of that load, making everything still fits, because that load was loaded by another operator in a whole different atmosphere. He had more logs to pick from, and he could pick and choose the proper log to load in the proper place. Now Byron, I'm pretty sure when he took those off, he didn't remember where every log fit and precisely how it fit. So he's probably not going to put them all back in the very same place where they were. And as you load that load, not only does it have to have the proper weight from end to end, but it has to be, the weight has to be distributed properly side to side. If not, that load will be side heavy, and a whole lot of bad things can happen then. And the least of which is it makes it very difficult for that truck driver to navigate that load down the road, and especially on a logging road, which you know, it isn't always real flat and real good roads. If that load is side heavy, and if the road happens to be a little slick with mud or snow or ice or anything, then that truck is very difficult to keep going down the road, and accidents can happen and stuff. Or another thing that can possibly happen, if that load happens to be side heavy, let's say to the left of the truck side on the truck bunk, and to the right of the truck side on the trailer bunk, then that's called a binding load, and it's bound, you're bunk bound. And that can really make things get scary, because those bunks don't want to turn freely as you're going around corners, so it forces the driving action, the steering tires on the front of that truck don't want to turn. So sometimes when a truck driver goes around a hairpin switchback where it might drop off 800 feet over a side hill past that switchback, and he comes into that corner, and all of a sudden his truck doesn't want to turn, it wants to head for that 800-foot bank, he kind of gets a little nervous. Just got word the barbecue is open. The salmon, beef, and chicken barbecue, world famous Deming Logging Show barbecue, is now open for business. I probably shouldn't have said that. Byron's maybe going to jump right out of that loader and think, oh heck, it's lunchtime, I might as well go eat. I'll finish this load after lunch. So, Guy, that's a Rob Graham truck, huh? Is that what I heard?
Yes, it is, Bob, and I'd like to say it one more time to get two out of the way for the day. Yeah, that's a Rob Graham Trucking, number 16. The driver is Mike Osborne.
All right, well, that's good to know.
Byron says that he's good enough that after he loads this, he wants the load to be rejudged for best load load. He's guaranteed to win.
Now, I could be wrong here, and if I am, Byron will definitely let me know after this, I'll guarantee you. But probably most of you aren't picking up on what's just taking place out there now. Like I say, I could definitely be wrong. But that boom is going up and down itself a lot now as he's trying to pick up these logs, and that one is one of the heavier logs on the load. And sometimes the frictions, which is the pressure plates in and around the drums there, you push everything together to make those lines work, they'll get hot. And when they do get hot, they don't work anymore. It's kind of like brakes on a vehicle. If they get hot and you're going downhill, you are in trouble because they don't want to stop. And I saw Byron with that last log that he put on where he was having to let the boom down and then pick up the slack with his loading line or his lifting line once again on the grapples and then bring the boom up and use that line instead, the boom line instead, to pick that log up. And I'm assuming that that's because those frictions are getting hot. And they're starting to slip on there. And as I said, this machine has been sitting for the most part for quite a while. So some of that stuff isn't being used much. It doesn't get to stay in the shape that it typically does when you're running that machine every day. So if that's what is happening, that is probably the reason for that. It's not that machine is necessarily failing or there's, it's a major breakdown in it or anything. But if that's what's happening, and you saw Byron moving that boom up and down, it's just another way that a good, savvy operator knows that he can still get the job done, even though that machine might not be working to the best of its ability. Yeah, like Mike Krause from Robbie World just said, some of us that are relatively old, we kind of know how that works. And some of our parts and pieces don't work every day, and when we do try to use them, they just kind of don't seem to have the same old operating ability that they did a few years back. All of the past bulls of the woods that are here, if you could please come up and touch base with our grandstand secretaries, that would be great. Past bulls of the woods or wives or widows, please come up and let us know.